Today, when the House opens for regular session, we will be led by Visiting Chaplain, Reverend Jerome R. Milton. This extraordinary man is a friend, and he is an inspiration to me. To borrow from a testimonial sermon of his, Reverend Milton, as a very small child, was left with his brother and sister in a rundown California motel to die. The San Diego County Welfare Department found them and placed them in a horrific orphanage called the Hillcrest Orphanage, where abuse of all kinds, imaginable and unimaginable, were inflicted upon them. Many of the children in such terrible conditions committed suicide, which included his brother and sister. After the horrors of this orphanage, he was placed in 13 different foster homes where he suffered more unfathomable abuse and inhuman treatment. Finally, as Jerome says, God heard the cry of the lamb, and he was placed in his 14th home of Dady Florence Johnson. She could not read or write, but she was a good woman with a big heart and a stronger will. She took Jerome, and she said she could not imagine all the abuse he had been through. It just sounded too unbelievable. But she looked him in the eye and said, "Don't let your abuse be your excuse." She said, "Someday you could be a great juvenile judge or caseworker, something special." But there was a lot of rebellion and anger in the young man. He hated lots of people and things, and especially God. Ms. Brown would not heed Jerome's pleas to leave him alone. She kept praying for him every single day by name. She said she knew there was good in him, but prayed that God would not let him end up in jail or prison, because she knew God could do something very special with him. He eventually tried the praying thing himself, but he was very cynical. He wanted to go to college. He wanted to be a coach, but he knew no one who had money. But then he found out he could run really fast and he could play football really well. Though his teacher told him he was too black and too stupid to ever amount to anything, he proved her wrong when just 4.5 years later he taught in a classroom right next to hers. As Reverend Milton says, God moved him from foster care to people care. This angry, black, abused, hopeless shell of a downtrodden young boy had God-given potential. This is what Dady Brown saw in him. Before she died, she told Jerome, "All you can do for me is if you can do for a group of children what I've done for you, then my living will not have been in vain." She said, "I don't have $1 million, but I hope I made $1 million difference." When she died, she had raised 44 children, giving hope to each one. Jerome says she led him to Jesus, and Jesus opened his heart. He providentially met and married Charlene Ogus, and together they have 9 children. 6 of them were adopted through the foster care program. Now, Tyler, Texas, is where 2 Heisman Trophy winners grew up, Earl Campbell and Johnny Manziel, but it's also the mission field of Reverend Jerome R. Milton and his wife Charlene. And that's where they've invested their lives. He is the senior pastor of the Greater New Pleasant Hill Baptist Church in Tyler, been there for 25 years. He established the Dady Florence Brown Children's Home for homeless mothers and abused children. He's the head track and field coach at Bishop Gorman Catholic High School for 24 years, leading his team to 10 state track and field championships, and has helped 150 athletes earn scholarships. He's also been the Tyler Citizen of the Year, winning the T.B. Butler Award. His work towards spanning race and religion and all types of barriers is boundless, and his list of accomplishments would take all day long to read. He has blessed our town, our district, our state, and our country. It is an honor and an inspiration to know him and count him as friend. I look forward to having my friend as a visiting chaplain today at noon Eastern Time when he opens the official part of this session in Congress. God bless America and God bless Jerome Milton. Thank you.